Let's get to this breaking news. The White House is saying this is a dramatic concession, a new immigration proposal. The Trump administration would accept a path to citizenship, not just for the 700,000 or 800,000 so DACA individuals, but for a broader population of 1.8 million people. The deal that the president wants would also require Congress to pony up a $25 billion trust fund for border walls with Mexico and also with Canada. That's according to senior officials. They also want a deal that, in this deal, they want to end chain migration and the lottery visa program. Again, a path to citizenship for 1.8 million people. That's coming out of the White House. Let's bring in America's Sheriff, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clarke. Sheriff, good to have you on. What do you think of this new deal from the White House? The White House is saying it's a big concession.
Yeah, I think it is. Look, these are negotiations, and you don't get everything you want. We're not going to deport 800,000 dreamers. We know that. Most people know that. Most reasonable people know it. But the bigger part of this was the ending the chain migration and the visa lottery program, and then funding for the wall. So if you can get 3 out of the 4 things that you want, I think you have to kind of look at that as a win. Who knows? The Democrats still may balk at this because they've dug their heels in on chain migration, no funding for the wall, and no end to the visa lottery program. So at least it's showing that the White House is being reasonable in this negotiation and offering something.
So if the Democrats reject it, then what?
And back to square one. Look, this is kind of the stuff that's gone on for too long in Washington. They wait till the 11th hour, and all they did was extend it the other day to end the budget impasse. But at some point, I believe that the Senate President, Mitch McConnell, is going to have to look long and hard about this thing, that the filibuster, and maybe end that thing, and so that they can get something passed. Look, they're not trying to steamroll the Democrats. They're trying to be reasonable. It's the Democrats that are being unreasonable.
Yeah, this immigration problem has been decades in the making. It precedes President Trump. He's trying to fix it. Let's get to the heart of it, too, that the president wants. He wants to stop, or rather fix, the family migration issues. We know terrorists have come into this country, visa family migration policies, and attacked innocent Americans. And, what he's saying is new citizens would be able to only sponsor their immediate families, not the outer circle of relatives. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think that's reasonable. Now with the chain migration, I mean, they're going into cousins and second cousins and boyfriends and girlfriends, and that stuff has to stop. So, again, I think it's a concession. You can have the debate in Congress and in the American public as to whether or not that goes too far in terms of offering something to the Democrats. But like I said earlier, in negotiations, you have to be reasonable. You have to offer the other side something. I don't think that's offering too much, but we'll have to see how this plays out in the debate in Congress.
Yeah, the president has already said the path to citizenship, he has said 10 to 12 years. He made comments about that. Here's the other thing. The president wants more U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents at the borders, as well as more immigration judges. We know that the caseload there is overwhelming in terms of what they have to deal with illegal immigrants. Let me get to this part of the deal, too. A border wall with Canada. What are your thoughts there?
Well, that's kind of the first time that I've heard something like that offered. But the main thing is that the problem is at the southern border. If there's a problem at the northern border, it's not something I've heard of in the past. But the thing is to seal the border and start with the southern border. That's very important here. That's really one of the mainstays of what the president during his campaign and then after he became president, that he drew a hard line on, and I'm glad to see that he's holding the line on that. The 10 years, 12 years, 15 years before the Dreamers are eligible for citizenship. I think, again, that's a concession. I think that's reasonable. That's what you want to look for in negotiation. You want a reasonable approach to what you're trying to ask for and what you can get. Because, look, if you can't get it, you can draw hard lines on all this stuff. You can say nothing for the Dreamers, deport them. You could say no chain migration, no visa lottery, and a wall as long as we want it, and that's it. That's not negotiating, okay? It is. It's negotiating with a gun to the other side's head.
You like this deal, Sheriff?
From what I've heard, and just like you, we're just hearing this. Yeah. I need to know more details. But again, it's negotiation. And so I think from that standpoint, what I'm hearing, I think can pass. And that's important here, too. What can pass? Not what do you want, but what can you get passed? Yeah, I mean, this has been such a sticky wicket for so long. Sheriff David Clarke, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. My pleasure.